So the M3 Max MacBook Pro, that's what's in front of me. I've had it for about a year. This is the 16-inch model. And as of the recording this, it's October 23rd, 2024, which means that a M4 Max MacBook Pro is probably around the corner. So I want to give my thoughts and experience over the past year of using this guy and would I buy it again and all that stuff. And also if there's anything I regret with this purchase. So a little backstory, I have used a lot of Apple products in the past. The last MacBook Pro I owned was a 2015 model. And that one kind of turned me off from the series, so I dumped Apple after that point. Went pretty much all Windows except for my phone until about 2021, 2022, when I started adopting more of the Apple Silicon. Started with the M2 Mac Mini. I was actually really happy with that, and that was the base model, just 8 gigs of RAM, 256 on the hard drive. I was really surprised at how good that machine was. Then I got an M1 Max Mac Studio, little box thing, and that's also been awesome. Used that quite a bit for video production, video editing. And then about a year ago, I needed a mobile situation. So I thought maybe it's time to invest in a new MacBook Pro. And I originally got the M2 Max for like $500 off or something like that. And then like 5 days later, they announced the M3 Max, and I was like, ugh. So I returned that laptop, got the M3 Max. So I will say, overall, I am extremely impressed and happy with this laptop. I do not plan on refreshing anytime soon. I'm not the type of person to upgrade every year. The M4, M5, M6, whatever type of Max that's gonna come out, like, sure, that's great. Iterations, I keep updating. I'm happy the technology moves forward, but as a piece of hardware that I plan on keeping and maintaining, I don't really see myself swapping out of this laptop for a long time. It is very useful and powerful for the things I want it to do. And one of my needs was basically mobile video editing type of setup. So I wanted something that was going to be able to handle a lot of 4K footage, multicam type of situations, and then also be able to edit and finish all on a laptop so I could take it anywhere if I need to go on location or something. And yeah, it's great. It does that. Now I did get the 48 gigabyte, 1 terabyte of space M3 Max model. It was about $4,000, and that's a pretty expensive purchase for a laptop. And as we know, they can go much higher with higher RAM and hard drive space. I'll get to that in a second here. I decided I was gonna roll with these type of hard drives for extra video storage and processing, and they've worked. They've worked well, actually. And I formatted them to the Apple file system, so they're happy with the operating system and all that stuff. It is a little annoying having to have a dongle set up to the laptop all the time. So this is actually one regret that I have, actually the main regret, I should say, of this laptop and the purchase, is that I do have to have these hard drives no matter what. And there's a bit of me that wishes I would have been able to go for like a 4 terabyte or 8 terabyte version in the laptop. Now it would have ballooned the price dramatically, and honestly I don't think I would have done it at the time anyways. There's a big part of me that does wish I had the convenience of just being able to scoop this laptop and I'm good to go. Because having to make sure I have these and have them like plugged in like this all the time, it's a little cumbersome. This is a project I did a few months ago for the music channel, and it is a multicam setup. I've got like 7 different camera angles going on here. And if I turn off color grading, this typically plays like in real time. And these are all 4K. So it's not using proxies at the moment, and it is reading it directly off this drive, which is pretty nice. And a couple of these are B-RAW as well. But if I do throw the color grade on there, it will slow down a bit, but not that much. It still is able to handle it. But I will say I still use proxies, and one of the reasons, I feel like sometimes there's just extra wear on these drives, so why not just make some proxies real quick and then edit off of that? So I still technically use proxies, even though I could just edit in the 4K side of things. But when I need to finish things, then I turn off the proxies, and it's great to be able to still see the multicam setup of whatever I'm editing and be able to make some adjustments kind of last minute with the full color grade and all that. There is times where if I'm using noise reduction, then it starts choking. So for instance, this shot right here is this overhead shot, and it is being shot in B-RAW. So sometimes I do have to use noise reduction. In fact, I don't think I did it in this one. You can see there's noise in the signal right there. So if I do apply a decent amount of noise reduction for that type of footage, then it can slow down a bit. But overall, I mean, it's kind of amazing that I'm able to run a bunch of 4K footage with color grades. The laptop's like, sure, whatever. And also I'm on battery. Like the battery is 87 right now. I haven't plugged it in all day. Prior to this, I was using an AMD 3770K with a RTX 3070 card, and I wasn't getting the performance I wanted out of it. Switching over to an M1 Max, it was already faster, and then this M3 Max is faster on this laptop than the M1 Max. Not incredibly faster, but it is faster for sure. But if I had to just switch over to an M1 Max Studio, I'd be fine. So when it comes to battery life, this thing is nuts. I can take a project like this where I'm rocking 6 or 7 different 4K cams, and I can import that footage. I can make proxies with them. I can load them up on the timeline. I can edit an hour-long take down and maybe have 60% battery life left. So I still have enough time to be able to color grade and basically finish a project all in one battery charge that maybe the raw files were about an hour long. The trade-off obviously is if you were to get a 4090 and whatever the latest Intel or AMD chip, it's going to be faster, clearly. But man, there is a convenience level to this. Outside of the battery, the screen is very nice. I did have to get used to some certain stuff with DaVinci Resolve, where in the color management, you do need to make sure the output color space is Rec 709-A. That threw me for a loop for a bit in the beginning because I would export stuff and the color between what I was seeing in DaVinci and on another computer was completely off, or actually inside the laptop itself. When I would open up the file, when I'd play the file in like QuickTime or something or load it up on YouTube, the colors were off. So yeah, a little research. Turns out you need to make the output color space Rec 709-A. The speakers also really good. They have a lot of bass for a laptop. Again, another thing that just is like a convenience aspect of these laptops that feel really good. Definitely not saying that Windows laptops don't have that or anything like that. Yes, there's definitely really nice Windows laptops out there. If you like being in the Apple ecosystem, so it connects with your iPhone, iPad, or other computers and all that, it's actually really nice to have a really slick, nice machine with all those amenities that does connect into the whole Apple ecosystem type of thing. Speaking of the ecosystem, it's actually been really nice for being able to transfer files. I have actually used this laptop to record in a different office. So I have like 6 or 8 different synthesizers hooked up, record them all into Ableton Live on this laptop, and then be able to use iCloud to immediately transfer all those files over to this studio computer, the M1 Max. And then I can just finish on the M1 Max Mac Studio for Ableton, which has access to all my gear right here for mixing. And that is super convenient. Like, it's almost seamless at that point. In fact, if I render a mix and I save it in iCloud, I immediately have access to it on my phone, laptop, iPad. Like, it's nice. It's really convenient. So in terms of the ecosystem, it's not really something that I thought about with the laptop, but it actually makes a pretty big difference to me anyways. Also, the color. I don't know if I would get this color again, because I do feel a little bit like it's a fingerprint magnet. It's not terrible right now. Maybe when I first got it, I just felt like there was a lot of fingerprints that would show up immediately. But I mean, this is again about a year and I haven't really wiped it down that much, but there is smudge marks and there is signs of use after a year. I generally take care of my tech pretty good. So most of my stuff doesn't really look used. I tend to be careful about having grease on my fingers and food particulate and splashing of drinks and crap like that. I'm very careful about that. So with that in mind, I'm somewhat surprised at how much gunk the laptop has accumulated over the course of a year. That's kind of anecdotal, but is what it is. So I don't think I would really get this color again. It does look really cool, but it does seem to kind of attract dirt and dust a little bit easier than I think like the silver versions. So again, I talked about the hard drive size, and yeah, I think I would probably try to go for at least 4 terabytes, especially considering video production, because while it is okay using these drives to hold 4K footage, and they can stream multiple streams of 4K footage, no problem. It would be really nice to just dump it on the hard drive on here and then not worry about it. And if I had the 8 terabyte model, then I could really load a lot of projects and not worry about my space concerns. But as it is right now with 1 terabyte, I'm definitely not loading footage directly onto the drive. Like, that's out of the question. Any footage that I do need is going to go onto these 4 terabyte drives. And if it was all just internal, like 8 terabytes, then it would be no problem. I don't plan on getting rid of this laptop anytime soon. Like, this is going to be 7 years, maybe 8 years. So I kind of wish I would have dropped an extra 2,000-3,000 on just hard drive space. I mean, that's just ridiculous that it costs that much, but it would be nice. And I kind of wish I had done it. So that's my main regret, that I wish I had spent more money. This thing is already ridiculously expensive, but it does do what I need it to do. And it does it pretty damn good. So aside from the cost, I can't really complain that much, honestly. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about is this pad, the trackpad right here. Initially, I was not used to this trackpad and it felt strange. Like, I did not like the whole experience. Again, I have been used to Apple MacBook Pros in the past, so it's not that I was completely foreign to the Apple trackpad, but this latest generation of trackpad is a little bit different and can be a little strange if you're trying to understand how to move stuff around. And yeah, so once you understand the shortcuts and all that, like using the keys to explode all the windows and drop files around, that type of thing, then it's very nice and convenient. But initially I was like, oh, I don't like how I have to hold this down. And then I realized you can actually swap your fingers back and forth with moving stuff. It's like, oh, game changer. Of course you can do that. It's like, it's obvious that you'd be able to replace your finger as you move stuff around. So the more I use the trackpad, the more I realize how brilliant it is, to the point where I ended up buying one of these for the studio computer, for the Mac Studio. Trackpad, initially, didn't really like it that much, but then I got more used to it. And yeah, feels really nice. The keys feel nice too. Nothing really to say about that. So yeah, I'm actually really happy with this purchase, even though it was very expensive. And also I wish I'd spent more money. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. If you found it useful, my affiliate links below directly support the channel. So if you happen to buy something through the affiliate links, thank you very much. Also, a like and subscribe goes a long way. And yeah, I'll see you next time for another video. Peace.